Education is not a topic that just affects a small population. Education affects nearly everyone within a society, and American education is no exception to that. American education is a huge topic of controversy nowadays because so many people and factors are involved and because it is such an important topic to the entire country for many reasons. Education is the way to prepare today's youth to become our country's future and is responsible for making them educated and involved members in society. American education in the recent past has become a very controversial topic because it is thought that we are currently more focused on test scores, grade point averages, college admission statistics, and standardized tests than we are on the student's actual ability to learn and comprehend information. It was once said by Albert Einstein that the only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Einstein. This statement might be more accurate than one is willing to admit with the way that American education is currently being run. The biggest problem that people are expressing is that students are no longer actually trying to learn or comprehend the material given. Rather, these students are just memorizing the facts and data, cheating, or even taking Adderall or Vyvanse to help their test scores and their exam grades so that they can look like they know the information and so that the statistics look good. One major root of this problem is thought to be the No Child Left Behind Act. Ever since the No Child Left Behind Act was brought into play in 2002, it is required for all schools across the country to make standardized testing a priority and test students annually in subjects ranging from math and science to reading and writing. This was supposed to be a positive thing to make sure that all states are keeping their students in check and to make sure that teachers are following the curriculum and teaching the correct information. There are several unintended consequences that came from this act, though. To begin, a lot of the states are now just competing with each other to see who can get the highest scores and to see who can have the most students pass. One article that talks about standardized testing explains some of those drawbacks as the pressure to raise scores encourages cheating and teaching to the test. They're teaching subjects such as math and reading, but they're not teaching subjects such as art and music, which are not currently tested in most states. This gets less emphasis, and students may miss being exposed to a rich academic environment. Issues to consider. This is bringing into play a lot of different aspects of teaching and what teachers have to consider while teaching and creating their classroom and learning environment. Teachers are under pressure from different people. They're under pressure from the parents so that the students will learn, but they're also under pressure from the school board to have the students' statistics and test scores look good. There should always be a way for them to make sure that the students are learning the way that they should be learning and that all students can learn even if they don't do it the same way as another student or test as well as the other student. Not only does it take away from different types of learning and subject material, but all students learn in a different way or a different atmosphere, and so some students may know the material really well but test poorly over it, and some students may test really well just because they're good at testing. Testing can cause a lot of anxiety, which is why an increase of anxiety medications and performance-enhancing medications, which were originally made for ADD and ADHD, like Vyvanse or Adderall, come into play. Another part of the problem is school admissions and grade point averages in high schools. Schools put so much emphasis on these things and ignore the overall education and learning process of the student. Everyone is different and everyone learns different, so just because someone doesn't have a great GPA doesn't mean that they couldn't excel in a workplace. GPA, which is made mostly up of test scores and in different classes, help get you into colleges, which are also come into factors the ACT. But this is only going to work for a small amount of students. Not every student can do really well in the ACT, even if they know the material. This often brings students to have testing anxiety and will often develop during this time of school. Students feel the need to treat themselves by buying Adderall or Vyvanse from students with a prescription, even if they don't have it. This is not only dangerous, but it says something very loud to our society. A famously known advocate for educational reform, Michelle Reese, stated powerfully, "Children are smart enough to know that you can't fix the schools if it's really the society that's broken, the decline of American education." In this saying, she hit the head on the nail when she explains that teenagers and kids in the school system are not going to try harder and study harder and really try and comprehend the information if they know that they only have to spit it back out on a test or to look good for a statistic or number. If they're only trying to memorize the facts and data for exams or for college admissions, once they are entered into the real world or into college setting, they're not going to know and they're not going to be prepared. With that being said, there are a lot of different factors that go into American education, and there are a lot of different stakeholders who are affected and affect it. The stakeholders are involved, but not excluded to students, teachers, parents, school board members, and college advisors. It has been proven that in order to make the best learning environment for students to thrive in, all of these stakeholders must be involved and on board to make it happen. Students are obviously affected because they are the ones whose education and future is at stake. Their parents are involved because they're paying for that education and they want what's best for their child and can help make a good environment at home. Teachers are a big part of the process because they teach the information and they're the ones there with the students every single day. The school board is the one behind that, where they have a ton of power and a ton of influence. They can change the curriculum and they have the power to change a lot within the classroom. The school board is a very large role because they have a lot of influence over the school system. And lastly, the college advisors are affected because in the end, they're the ones who deal with the students who are unprepared once they get to college and have to deal with the aftermath of it. In the end, all of these stakeholders need to work together in order to change for the future of American education.